Hello.
The actual person you've just met, and obviously Bernaaard, you said he had a nice body because he was.
I didn't.
He did yoga.
No,
so
that's not him.
Maybe you were just thinking of Bernaaard at the time and just thought, I can't think of.
Can you just be serious, please? Because
I
I'm
am.
not trying to make a joke of this.
But I'm not making a joke. I'm just saying all these things that are triggering stuff in your head, and then someone says, "Oh," snaps you out of reality and goes, "What's her name?" You go, "Oh, I don't know."
Well, for one, let me just be clear here.
Yes.
I wasn't standing looking at Bernard's body because Bernard was...
Hello.
Daddy, I love him.
Mother thanks you.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And we're back this week to talk to you about, well, there's plenty to talk to you about, let me tell you that, because I,
Dun, 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 dun.
have been on my holidays. First time in 30 years, Bri,
On your Todd.
I've ever been away on my Todd.
Yeah.
And we just want to quickly talk about that before we jump into the show. These are the things I want to talk to you about. I'll be professional and tell them what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about getting ripped off, because obviously I've been away and I've been ripped off. So you'll need to know about that. Actually, not just getting ripped off. It's that whole thing of overpaying for something.
Is it ripped off or just value for money, you mean?
No, this is what it is. It's overpaying for something.
Yeah.
Because you're in a venue that is, I don't want to do air quotes, but...
Well, let's do them.
No, I don't want to do air quotes. I
haven't done them for a long time.
I know, but I'm not going
Very
to do that route. that is said to be like the best of the best. So you don't want to complain because you think, I'm a scabber, and if I start complaining, I'm going to look like a scabber. Okay? So that's what we're going to be talking about. Like, you know, because I know you're going to relate to that. I know there are lots and lots of people that will be able to relate to that. We're also going to be talking about short-term memory loss and something that happened again when I was on my trip, and you've got something to say about that, haven't you, Bri?
Yeah, it's weird because we said we were going to talk about it today, and I had an email about that today.
Oh, did you?
Very weird, isn't it? See how things just come to
see,
you?
law of attraction.
Yeah, there you go.
How did you remember, though, if you've got short-term memory loss?
I don't know. What were we talking about?
And we just wanted to... So first of all, let's just jump in and just say, we've missed you. How are you? We're happy to have you back. It's Monday here in New Zealand. Beautiful sunny day. Mm-hmm. We're sitting on our new stolen high chairs that Brian nicked and hasn't paid for yet.
Yep.
And we're here to talk to you about this trip I went on. So what it was is I met this girl, wonderful lady, over the internet. She signed up for my newsletter, was moving to New Zealand, and you know how it is. We're emailing backwards and forwards. We get to know each other. When we all went over to England on our Europe trip, we stayed with her.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Oh yeah, it was just me and you.
Yeah, it was just me and you.
Yeah.
And then our car broke down, and she came and got us as well from a little village.
She's just the most gorgeous
Brilliant.
friend, and we just hit it off. Anyway, she's over in New Zealand at the moment, and she's over on Waiheke Island, which is an island off the
coast of Auckland,
off the city of Auckland.
Yes, it is. It's off the east coast.
And she reached out to me. She knows all the stuff that's going on with Mum and everything. And she said, "Hey, Liz, why don't you just have a weekend away and come over and spend the weekend with me?" And at first, I must admit, I was really nervous. And the reason for that is because in 30 years, we sat and worked it out. In 30 years, I've never been on holiday on my own, apart from like family, like I've been to see my sister-in-law and my brother and everything. Not talking about that. I'm talking about with another person that isn't my family.
Yeah.
For 30 years, Bri.
Yeah, because you've had to go away with Tess or your mum or me or someone like that, isn't it? Like, you know.
Is that really sad?
It is when you actually think about it, because you just tend to think, oh, have you got no mates, Liz? That you can just go and say, no, there you go.
Got her.
Yeah, you moved to New Zealand. It's very hard to get mates.
Yeah, but this is the thing, and this is the thing I'm worried about, Bri, is when I said those words, is that really sad? I thought, why am I saying that? Because no, it's not really sad. It's just that I prefer to be with my family and we do everything together. It's not sad, is it?
Why would it be sad if you enjoy doing something? Then, you know, it's normally the other way around, that you have to go out with your mates, or I don't know, but I'm not even right or wrong on that. Like, you know, it's not like you've been away on business trips because you homeschooled the kids, so you didn't really get much chance to go away.
What business trip am I going to go on?
I'll tell you what you did do once, but you were with Sunny though. You did spend the night at the school camp.
Yeah, that's not the same though, is it? It's flipping rubbish,
and
that.
He went into town with his mates.
Yeah, and you're with a load of kids. But anyway, so she reached out to me and said, would you like to come to Waiheke Island and spend the weekend with me? She said, my husband and kids aren't here. It's just me. Would you like to come? I said, well, I'll be honest. First of all, I thought, no, I'm not doing that.
Do you know what Liz's excuse was? Do you know what it was?
What?
Oh, what about all the what bag shall I take?
Oh, shut up! No, it wasn't.
You did.
No, I was
You
just saying
did.
that because I didn't want to go, and I was trying to think of an excuse.
I know.
No, I was scared. I'll be honest with you. I thought I don't want to go and spend 3 days with someone on their own and not have the backup of my family. And what if I keep crying about my mum? And what if all this happens? And what I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to put myself out there.
Yeah, and with it being Waiheke Island, yes, you can take your car on the ferry, but again, it just works out more and more expensive. And you were going to fly up, weren't you?
I did fly up.
It meant
actually.
that you literally were on your own.
Yeah, I flew up. Gosh, San is sadder and sadder. This
isn't it?
I got my little bag. I got on the plane. I flew to Auckland. I got on the ferry. I got the ferry over to Waiheke Island, and I got over there, and we had the most lovely weekend. But not always well, Brian.
Not all rosy, eh?
Not always rosy. No. And I'm so glad it wasn't, because all I was thinking when all these things were happening is I can't wait to tell Brian this on the podcast. Yeah. Can't wait to share this with my friends.
Literally a day old.
With my real friends. Yeah, we only got back last night. So before we jump in and talk about the whole thing about paying for what not paying for getting what you pay for just because it's a posh thing, there was something we wanted to share, wasn't there, Bri, about, and I didn't really want to share this because I thought, oh no, I'm a bit embarrassed about it. But I am going to share it because...
It's quite funny in a way, but not when you go through it, but on the outside, it's funny. You know?
Well, you laughed your head off when I told you this. So this is the story, right? So bearing in mind, I've gone to Waiheke Island to spend the weekend with my friend who, like I say, we had the most lovely time. If you're listening to this, thank you so much for inviting me. I had the most lovely time. It was just what I needed. She's a lovely girl, and, we just had lots of wonderful talks. But because I've gone up there and I'm a little bit, there's been a lot on my mind at the moment. If for those of you who don't know, my mum's got cancer. She's not very well, and it's just been dreadful, and it's just awful, as anyone will know who's going through that. And so a lot on my mind, a lot of stress. Poor you, Bri, you've been taking a lot of that. So I get on the plane and I go over. Anyway, we'd been there. We had a lovely night. We went out for a meal and we were chatting and catching up and just talking about things. She's also, been through similar things as I'm going through, and it was just lovely to be able to connect. So what I want to emphasize here is I know her, okay? I know who she is. I know her name. I know everything about her. I know her.
That's all we've talked about is her name for the last week, because you knew you were going.
Anyway, went out for dinner that night. I arrived on the Friday. We went out for dinner, had a lovely meal, went back, went to bed. I must admit, and I'm putting it down to this. This is what I'm putting it down to, what happened the next day. I went to bed and didn't sleep very well.
No.
Had a lot on my mind. You know what it's like. You're in a strange bed. I've not got Brian next to me.
Yeah. Snoring.
Different room. Just didn't sleep well. I just didn't sleep well. To be honest, I think I only had about 3 hours sleep all night. Hang on.
I think you had about 3 hours sleep all weekend, didn't you?
The next morning, I get up. What's wrong with this?
I don't know. You keep kicking your legs.
Yeah. The next morning, I got up and my friend said, do you want to go for a swim in the sea and go for a coffee? Now, Waiheke Island is just like paradise. It's aqua colour sea, white beaches, and it's got a very Californian vibe going on.
Yeah, lots of yoga-y people, you mean?
Yeah. Well, lots of artists.
Or Venice Beach type thing, or you just mean all the artisty
I just mean like
people?
Lots of money.
Yeah.
Lots of money, lots of money.
The Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, and just like that feel of, when people have got lots of money, so they don't have to really earn that much of a living, so they do things like, paint and do yoga.
Open a shop and don't sell anything, but it's full of expensive stuff.
Just sell crystals for about $100, but we don't mind if we don't sell any. Exactly.
Yeah, but these are special ones.
It's got that kind of feel going on. And so we went for a swim. We went down to the beach and we had this most beautiful swim. Water was lovely. I thought I was quite relaxed, even though I hadn't had much of a sleep the night before. And you know what it's like when you're with someone new. I suppose you're on, not, high alert's the wrong word. You're not totally and utterly, truly relaxed, are you?
Well, you're never going to be, are you? Because if it had been a lifelong friend for 30 years, it's just...
I don't even know if you would be then.
No, maybe you would, yeah. But, with your friend Sam and stuff, you wouldn't really care. You'd just be bambling on about stuff. But then again, staying with someone is always different, isn't it? Because they arrange things to do stuff. And you've got to, you're up for it. And You can't just say, I can't be bothered doing anything today, because it's like, well, you want to see the island, don't you?
So anyway, we were in there having a swim and having lots of lovely time and fun, and the sun was shining and it was beautiful. And my friend said, let's go and have a coffee. Let's go. I'll take you to the local coffee place. So we walk up the road in our bare feet and our bikini. I was in my swimsuit, just a towel wrapped around my shoulders. It's that kind of vibe. It's very beachy, very islandy, very relaxed. Yeah. And we get to the coffee shop and it's really busy with locals. And my friend knows everyone. She's like, oh, hi, how are you doing? Oh, how did that go? And how's the car running now? And how's the school going for, the child's name and all the rest of it? It's a very local cafe.
Yep.
Anyway, there was another lady there. So hang on. So we get our coffee. We order our coffee. Let me get this right. We order our coffee and this man called Bernaaard comes over and he starts...
Not Bernard, but Bernaaard, because he lives in Waiheke.
No, it wasn't that. It was nothing to do with that.
Well, he was English, wasn't he? He wasn't French. How can he be Bernard?
Oh,
it's
Brian.
Bernard. Yeah.
You're just ruining my story now.
Sorry, Bernard.
I'm being positive. I'm going to have to cut that out now, because what if he's listening to that?
As if...
You don't lie, Brian, because when we're alone sometimes you say to me, call me Brian.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
You say, call me Elizabeth.
Exactly. If he wants to be called Bernard, he can be called Bernard. Stop trying to... Yeah.
It's like saying Chile. It's chilly.
Anyway, back to my story. There's Bernard, and he was lovely Bernard. Now you've got me saying it all wrong.
Okay, it's all right.
There was Bernard, and he was English. Yeah. You're right, English Kiwi.
Like Bernie.
He's been there. And he knows my friend very well. And he had his friend, who was also new to the island, with him. So there's 4 of us, 2 locals who know each other, who know each other very well, and 2 women, me and this other woman. This other woman is new to the island too. Anyway, Bernard and my friend are talking away, and he's talking to me, and he's telling us all about how long he's lived in New Zealand, and he was a nice guy. Anyway, the conversation just went a little bit quiet. And the new lady, who was Bernard's friend and who was new to the island, she looked over at me and caught my eye contact. Just imagine we're all standing in this little 4 holding our coffees, just standing like shoulder to shoulder. Bernard and Zoe are opposite each other, and me and this woman who don't know each other are standing opposite each other in this little 4. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Anyway, she looks at me and she said, sorry. She said, I didn't catch your 2 names, and points at me and then my friend Zoe. I said, I didn't catch your names. And I went, oh, I'm Liz. And she went, yep. And I went, I couldn't remember Zoe's name. I couldn't remember, Brian.
Can now, though.
I couldn't remember the girl who had invited me over to her house to stay with her, who I'd been out for dinner and just been for a swim in the sea. I was staying in her house and I've been emailing her all these years. And I just looked like this. I went, oh. And then I just pretended I could hear her. And oh my God, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Did you just feel alone all of a sudden? I
just felt like I just wanted the world to swallow me up and just get me out of that little outside cafe area. And she was looking at me as if like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. It's those mushrooms that we had for breakfast.
Now,
tripping me out.
I know that short-term memory, like my mum's had radiotherapy on her brain, and I know I've done lots of Googling and researching about what can happen to the brain and short-term memory loss and dementia and everything horrible like that. It's just very serious and things like that. But I'm just putting it down to, I was so stressed out, or was it that the water was cold?
Do you know
was it that I didn't have any sleep?
It's just you've immersed yourself in a different situation. You're there with someone. You're thinking as in not Zoe, but the actual person you've just met. And obviously Bernard, you said he had a nice body because he was.
I didn't.
He did yoga.
No, so that's not him.
Maybe you were just thinking of Bernard at the time and just thought, I can't think of...
Can you just be serious, please? Because I'm not trying to make a joke of this.
But I'm not making a joke. I'm just saying all these things that are triggering stuff in your head, and then someone says, snaps you out of reality and goes, what's her name? You go, I don't know.
Well, for one, let me just be clear here.
Yes.
I wasn't standing looking at Bernard's body because Bernard was probably in his 80s and he was a very nice chap, but
he could
I'm
do
not
the pigeon,
quite at the point. That's the wrong person.
Is it?
That was someone else I'm talking about.
Was that Bernard too?
I'm not quite at the point where I'm standing eyeing up 80-year-olds so much that I'm losing my memory.
Oh, right. I thought Bernaaard was.
No, he wasn't.
Bernaaard.
Anyway, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Be quiet. Who are you?
I don't know.
Why are you here?
I don't know. 30 years I've been here.
So we do. So yeah, the reason I wanted to share that story is because I honestly think that, I hope it is because there's a lot on your mind, and you know how sometimes you just walk into a room and you think, "What am I doing here? Why have I come in here?" Do you ever get that?
Yeah, all the time. I've said it umpteen times before. You know, when you're a tradie and it's like, oh, I need that out of the van, and you know, you'll go down 2 flights of stairs, you'll get to the van, open the door on the van, and you're like, what am I doing here? What have I come for? Because you're thinking of the jobs that you're doing, and it's just like, I'd have to walk back up and start working again and thinking, no, that's what I went down for, and go back down and get it. So there's no difference.
I think there is, right?
Well, no, that was, I would have been 30 years old or 20 years old when I was doing stuff like that. Admittedly, it gets worse.
It really frightened me.
Yeah.
It really frightened me because I just thought, shit.
It's
what is their name?
I just think it's not being present sometimes that, you know, there's too many things just going on. You're taking too much in, and it can just be like that. What's the name of that?
You?
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Why is it then when you're trying to remember a film star's name of a film that's 20 years old, you know, what it is? Everyone dives for the phone nowadays. But what I'm saying is if you leave it and you can't remember it, but then, you know, an hour later, bump, it just comes out.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that short-term memory can just go sideways sometimes. You just think, you know, what are we doing again?
Anyway, I wanted to share that as for the reason I wanted to share that is because I know this. I know you. I know this about you, that you will also have those moments where you think, shit, I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember that name. I can't remember where we were. I can't remember what I did. Like you said, I can't remember what I'm doing here. And I just wanted to tell you really as a story of reassurance. I just wanted to reassure you because there is a lot of stress going on at the moment. And I think, you know, like I say, put on top of, like you said, you're in a different situation. You've got a lot of people talking to you and there's a lot of going on and you've just been in the sea and you haven't had any sleep and your mum's back home and you don't know how she's doing and you don't want to keep phoning and you don't want to keep talking about it. And probably it was a case of, I just don't know. I don't know what her name is. And it just for a minute, in fact, it wasn't even just for a minute. It lasted, it felt like it lasted for about an hour.
All right, yeah.
It probably lasted for about 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, that 4 or 5 seconds was flipping scary.
It's embarrassing, isn't it? More than anything. You know, it happened once with me. John, my friend John, I've known him for years, literally years. He went back to the UK. And then I was standing at the traffic lights in New Plymouth and he pulled up. And you were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God. And I knew who it was straight away. I started chatting. Oh, what you doing back here in New Zealand? Oh, I've had enough in England after a year or so. And then I said, oh, this is my wife Liz. And I thought, I can't remember your name.
Oh God, I thought you were going to say you couldn't remember my name.
No, I couldn't remember his name. And it was just like, and he went, oh, I'm John. I thought, thanks, John. Yeah. Cheers, mate.
But even that, Brian, that's a bit different because you haven't seen him for 5 years. This is
it
someone
was
who
literally it was only 2 years, but you know what I mean.
You know,
I know, but still, it happens, doesn't it? Like, you know, and he was a good friend. You know, I'd worked with him and stuff, so you know, you should know his name.
So watch this space, and like I say, when I say watch this space, I don't mean just keep watching, but I just think it's good to talk about stuff like this because it is at a stage in your life where things like this do happen, and like I've always said, it's good to share it and share stories and just make you realise that, you know, people are going through the same thing as you. I think that's why I wanted to share it. You are here because you love New Zealand.
You might be moving to New Zealand,
living in New Zealand, or you might just spend your days dreaming of visiting this gorgeous country. Because we love New Zealand as much as you do, we have compiled a short and very unique 5-day video series showcasing life in New Zealand, what it's really like. These videos are real, they are exclusive, and best of all, they're absolutely free. So if you would like to view New Zealand from the inside out and find out what life is really like down here, sign up now, and every day for 5 days we will send you a personal 3-minute video showcasing some brilliant aspect of life in New Zealand. You are gonna love it. Go to www.itsadrama.com/ILoveNZ. We can't wait to share those videos with you. Okay, let's get back on with the show.
Here's the thing that I was talking about before. I got an email this morning that said by 2028, we will have our own personal co-pilots. And it will remember everything you see, every person you meet, and every conversation that you have. So you would never forget that person's name, and it will get to know you intimately, as in.
What do you mean a co-pilot? What are you talking about?
An AI.
What?
It's like I know you
In your brain, or physically a robot, or what?
literally talking to you in your mind.
Oh, no. Don't start that stupid behaviour, Brian.
Or, even as a little earphone that you just pop in and just like...
I know. I've heard all this before, though.
But that would stop things like that.
Yeah, and it would also stop any creativity or any spontaneity or any that embarrassment or... I don't know. No, yeah. I don't want that. I'm not going to have that.
But the research done into it...
I don't care if I forget Zoe's name.
By 2028, that every professional will have an AI. That's from doctors to... dentists to...
Yeah, I get the AI thing, and I get using AI. I'm not against AI, but I don't think it would be good to have something installed in your brain or in your ear that tells you so you never forget things. And no, I don't think that's right. No,
you don't think so?
Well, no, I don't.
Would you not be interested in having that? Just so you didn't forget Zoe's name?
Have a guess.
Would you like to have a go at it?
No.
Not even just attempt to have a little try at it for a week. And what would you do if you tried it and thought, oh, it's brilliant?
I think that's why.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's why I wouldn't have a go at it, because I'd be scared that I would like it so much that I'd want to use it all the time, and then I'd lose my. Oh no, Bri.
It's a funny one, isn't it?
No,
it was just interesting because you talked about memory, and literally you said it just said in the line. It's a guy called Peter Diamandis, and it's Future Loopers is it's an email newsletter that just comes. When there's good news, there's no rubbish. It's just all positive news. It's all good stuff.
Don't get me wrong. For people who are suffering from dementia or any illness, or that it could help them in any way, that would look like anything that disables them in any way, and that gave them their quality of life back. Absolutely, 100 million %.
Yeah.
But just for a gimmick, for normal, no, I wouldn't do it just so I didn't forget Zoe's name. I wouldn't. Anyway.
Yeah. It'd be hard, wouldn't it? Because what if it just actually said the wrong name anyway?
I know, I'd get it wrong.
No, it's just said it as, no, you're definitely Zoe. No, I'm not.
Oh, Brian, tell the story while we're on air. I could quickly, you'll have to do this quickly.
Right,
but tell the story about what you told me the other day when you were doing your AI stuff, and it said, no, you didn't hear that. Remember?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I wanted to do a podcast with my son, Sonny, and I was looking for... information on just using AI,
relationships.
On relationships. I put it all out there. I'm doing a father and son podcast. Want to do this, and it just came back with all the boring stuff like do sports, do this, do talking, football teams or this, that, and the other. Like father and son, the supposed thing to. And I just wrote back and said, this is quite boring. I just want something a little bit more in depth.
But juicy.
And it gave me the same subjects again with different descriptions to talk about. And I'm like, no, it's still not right. Can you give me, can we talk about relationships and sex? And it started printing it all, started typing it all out. And then it got to about, I looked away, looked back, and it disappeared. And it said, sorry, I can't tell you about that. I'm not, and my programming doesn't allow me to talk about sex and relationships. And I said, well, you just started typing it out and I saw what you were writing, and it said, no, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
It's like, yes, you did. I saw it. They said, no, sir, I'm sorry. I'm not allowed to talk about it.
See, it's playing with your mind.
Lying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's lying.
Playing with your mind, lying, making you doubt yourself. So you're going to have the chip.
Yeah.
That's what that's all about.
It's just like...
Don't think for 1 minute I'm not onto this, because I bloody well am. I know what's going on.
That's ridiculous.
I might not know Zoe's name, but I know.
And watch it type out the first paragraph.
Yeah. Never mind you didn't see it. Anyway, that's a good story, that. I like that. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about was something else that happened while I was on Waiheke Island. And this was about going to a place, and I'm not going to name the place that we went to. I'm not going to, for a couple of reasons. One, to not bring, I don't want anything being brought down on Zoe, because Zoe very kindly booked that place for us, and it was wonderful. And I'm sure Zoe wouldn't mind me sharing this story. And for two, I don't want to be in such a fragile tourist time of, tourism is just getting back on its feet.
Exactly.
I don't want to be like...
And it's for the sake of one person letting the whole crew down, it's not worth it, is it?
So this is what happened, okay? So Zoe booked us into this really, really fancy, lovely, famous, I'm going to say famous for Waiheke Island, place, bar.
Cocktaily place.
Let's just say bar, where you get famous, the cocktails are really, really well known. Okay, and everyone goes here. The view is spectacular. It's just wonderful. It's just absolutely lovely. And you have to book a table because it's so popular. And
What time did you go?
She was just really 2:00. We went there before
You
the
booked
ferry.
a table for 2:00.
Yeah, in the
Wow.
afternoon. Yeah. Or was it 1:00? No, 12:00. 12:00. We
whatever.
booked a
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we booked a table. Anyway, we get to this place and she said, just wait till you see the view, Liz. Wait till you see this place. It's absolutely lovely. We turn up and she's right. It is to die for. It's just a lovely, beautiful place, a lovely, beautiful bar. It's buzzing. It's full. The waiters are rushing round, trying to serve everyone. And she said, you've got to have one of the frozen cocktails. She said, that's
Right.
what, one of the frozen
slush
cocktails.
puppy.
The frozen cocktails here are just lovely. They're really famous and you've got to have one. So I said, I was so excited, because, me and alcohol, I don't remember the name of that. And so we turned up and over comes the waiter, only a young lad. And he goes, are you ready to order? And we said, yeah, we're going to have the frozen cocktails. He went, oh, sorry. He said, the frozen cocktails are off. And we're like, oh, really?
What, defrosted?
And he said, they're all gone. He said, they're all gone. We just had a big wedding party in and it's all gone. He said, well, the cocktails aren't all gone, but the glasses are all gone that we serve them in. He said, we haven't got, any glass. We haven't got the right glasses.
Can you imagine running out of glasses in a bar?
Well, for a start, why don't you go and wash a couple, you lazy little sod?
Yeah,
but anyway, I didn't say that because...
Glass collector's on his break.
Yeah. So I said, oh, and me being quick thinking.
I like thinking. I think out loud.
I said, well, hang on a minute, young laddie. I said, why don't you just put the...
Did you say young laddie to
No.
him?
I said, hang on a minute, young chap. Why don't you just put the frozen cocktails...
In a pint glass.
Just put it in a bucket.
Bring the machine over.
Yeah, exactly. I said, can't you just put them in different glasses? And you could see the look on his face. He was like, oh, well, we could do if you don't mind not having them in the proper glasses. We were like, no, we don't mind what glasses they come in. We're Kiwi, we don't care. Just bring them in whatever glasses you've got, as long as we can have one of your cocktails. And because at the end of the day, it's a frozen cocktail, like you say. I don't mean to be, but it's a slush puppy. Yeah. It's not like anything. It's just going to come a load of slush, isn't it?
Yeah. Did it have one of those annoying stainless steel straws in it?
Have you been spying on me?
No.
How did you know that?
I don't, just because that's what they give you nowadays, those big fat stainless steel straws, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I just used to like the little paper ones.
We're not allowed paper. It's not good for the environment, is it?
I know. It's just quite sad, really, isn't it?
Well, it is a bit.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get... Anyway, so I'm not to my story
Stainless steel's
yet.
not recyclable.
Not to my story yet. So young lad comes over with the two cocktails and he puts them on the table and they'd been served, they'd been made and poured into what looked to me like almost like a little dessert sundae glass. Like, those little fat round, they look like this. Like, I don't know what the name of them is. You would maybe just put some chocolate mousse in it or something like that.
Right.
And I'm not joking. So these cocktails are $22 each, 22 New Zealand dollars each, which is £11. What? How many US dollars is that about?
It's probably about $15 or something.
Right. So not cheap.
No. Yeah.
And I'm lucky if I had 3 slurps of it. And when he put them down on the table, Zoe said, oh, they're a bit smaller than usual. She said, the glasses that they normally come in are a bit bigger. But it doesn't matter because she didn't want to cause a fuss because the view and, the cocktails, and they were delicious. I had rose, raspberry and gin and it was absolutely lovely. So she didn't want to cause a fuss, but obviously I did. Yeah. So I don't want to be ripped off.
Yeah, so she'd planted the seed saying they're a little bit small.
Well, that's it, Bri. That's a good point, actually.
See,
that's a very
go.
good point.
Yeah.
Planted the seed in my brain.
Planted the seed, and that sprouted like anything with 2 slurps, didn't it? Thinking I'd like a 4th.
Well, yeah, because I thought to myself, no, Liz, don't say anything. Don't get up and make a fuss. And then I thought, do you know what? $22. Yeah, I'm going to get up. So I got up. She said, where are you going? I said, I'm just going.
A jog.
Just wait me a minute. And I picked up, and I went and found the little lad. And I said, excuse me. I said, we're the couple that you've just served the cocktails to in those tiny miniature shot glasses. I said, are we paying full price for those cocktails? I said, or are we going to get a refill? I said, because the glasses looked a little bit small. And he said, he flustered around a little bit. And he said, oh, hang on a minute, I'll go and get the manager. I thought, oh, God, no. Please don't come over to me and Zoe and start. Yeah. She doesn't know I'm over here complaining.
The big bruiser.
Anyway, the manager came over and he was all about 15. And he came over, he said, what's the problem? And this is how he said it. He said, what's the problem with the drinks? And I said, and I told Zoe by this stage, I told her what I'd said. And she said, oh, no problem. And I said, well, actually, we're just wondering if we're going to get a refill or, because the drinks were small. And he said this, he said, no, they weren't small. And I said, oh, yes, they were. And he said, no, they weren't.
Did you drink them, did you? Or did you make them?
And I said, oh. And he said, they're no different size than what you would normally get. All you've had is a different glass. Anyway, I just felt like a little bit like battered, I just felt like
a little schoolgirl.
Like, I'm not going to win this fight.
On your holidays.
Yeah, I am not going to win this fight. So I just said, actually, Zoe said, do you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
Get 2 more on the table.
Absolutely fine. And then I felt really embarrassed because I thought, oh, now I've gone and made a show of us by complaining, and now I've just been put in my place by this young lad. So as I was on the boat coming back from Waiheke Island, I just was thinking to myself, and we were talking about this last night on the way home from, you came and picked me up in Auckland in the car, didn't you, Brian?
I did, yeah.
And I was telling Bri the story, and I was thinking about it, and I just thought, why is it that when you go to a really nice place that's got a great reputation, even if they serve up small drinks, and I'm not being funny, Bride, they were small. I looked at the normal glasses that they would normally be in. Yeah, and I did it in my mind, and I thought, no, I'm sorry, you've shortchanged me there. But why is it that you don't feel you can complain or you don't want to make a fuss because it's, the special place and you're not allowed to?
Yeah. But the thing is the waiter or the manager just looks around and goes, look how full we are.
Exactly.
Do you think I can be bothered? And you, not only that, you were told that you didn't have the glasses and you still wanted one. So there you go. So what do you think it was short on? Extra ice? Or do you think, because as the bar manager who's got a liquor license, he's got to serve the same size drinks for everybody in New Zealand. And it's slightly different in the US, but in England, you've got to serve exactly the same size drinks. Not so much the cordials that go in it, like the ice or stuff, but the actual gin has got to be that size. And if anything
there
else
just wasn't enough of it. There just was. I'm not talking about the amount of alcohol. It was delicious.
Yeah.
What I had was absolutely delicious. It was alcohol-y, rosy and raspberry. It had a silver straw in it. It was absolutely delicious, but it was gone in 3 mouthfuls. And when I looked over at the table, the big wedding table with all the dirty glasses on it, I could see the glasses that they would normally have been served in, and they were a lot bigger than the glass that I'd had mine served in. That's all I'm saying. Right. Now, what they were trying to say was, well, no, we would only half fill those glasses and you got exactly the same amount. So I don't know. So what I thought we would do, because this is just such a brilliant thing, is I went onto Google and found one of the most exclusive cocktail bars in the world, right? I thought this would be fun.
Yeah.
And found Hemingway's in Paris. It's in the Ritz Hotel and it's called Hemingway's, and it is a famous cocktail bar in Paris. And last week we were talking about our reviews for our book.
Yes.
And we got really great response from that. Everyone loved it. And they were like, oh, yeah, we had lots of nice emails saying, loved the review podcast, and just great to hear about people's reviews. So what I thought I'd do is let's just read a couple of 5-star reviews of Hemingway's Paris.
Yeah.
And then see what people really think by going to the 1-star reviews.
Right.
And
yeah.
I thought that would just tell the truth.
Yeah, but it is, because you put something up on a pedestal, don't you? And sometimes when you go there, it's like, oh my God, is this it? It's not quite as good, is it?
Where have you been? Tell the truth, right? Have you ever been anywhere, whether it's been on your own or with me, that you've paid a lot of money for and just got there and thought, this is flipping rubbish?
Ooh, off the top of my head, I can't think of. Off the top of my head, no, I can't think of something.
Can't think?
No, because.
Do you remember that restaurant we went to in not in Times Square, in New York? And we ordered and it was in the railway station.
I think that was our fault.
Was it?
Yeah, it was in Grand Central Station, and it was a typical, because what it is, I wanted to eat a typical sort of American sort of restaurant, big steak, fries, that sort of classic sort of American-y stuff. And there was this flash restaurant up in Grand Central, but we just ordered 2 2 portions of fries. Never been to New York before in our life, did we? Not realising that there's enough to feed the whole family on 1 portion. And people were just looking at it with these 2 piles of fries came up and you're like, okay, I think we have ordered too much food. And it was just, after like eating half the steak and half the fries, it lost its appeal by then. So it was a bit, But the location was gorgeous because Grand Central Station was just
You can't say
stunning.
that, bro. You're having a bit of trouble.
and,
Say it again.
Grand Central Station.
Say it fast.
Grand Central Station.
Say it again.
Grand Central Station. Oh, look at do it at the microphone. Grand Central Station. It's the central that's coming out wrong. Like Bernaaard.
So anyway, you've got a real problem with Bernaaard.
I do. It's Bernard, for God's sake.
Well, hang on.
What?
What's the problem?
Well,
Why are you?
Bernard.
Yes, and
If he was in France, then yes. It's like, because I knew a Bernard in France. And it was just like, my name's Bernard. And all right, Bernard, because you've said it in such a wonderful French accent.
Okay, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way, Bri.
It's a Saint Bernard.
No, let me
It's not a Saint Bernard.
So if I'd have told you that I'd met a woman and she was called Sophia,
Yeah.
would you get the same angsty as you're getting now, or would you start saying, "Her name's Sophie"? And I said, "No, her name's Sophia. Oh, Sophie. That's it, Sophie."
Yeah, because Sophia is spelled a bit
but
different normally.
would
But
you have
Bernard
the-
is Bernard. The English pronunciation
his
of
name
Bernard is
wasn't
Bernard. Yeah, he's not
His
in
name
France.
was Bernard. Just live with it.
I am, but it just makes me laugh when they say, "Oh, I'm Bernard."
Listen,
it's
Bri,
like, really?
listen,
Are you
listen.
Bernard?
I love you.
Yes. You're going to have a little rant here and there, Liz.
I love you. I don't
I
love
haven't
Bernard.
got a problem. But yeah, if you're French, then yes. It's like saying, I'm Brian. It's like, no, I'm
Exactly.
Brian.
I know, but anyway. So now let's move on to Bar Hemingway, which is located in the Ritz.
Are you pronouncing that?
It's located in the Ritz in Paris, and it is a legendary cocktail bar. Apparently,
Hemingway?
Hemingway Ernie,
Yeah.
from the 1920s onwards, he made this bar his headquarters, and he would go there and he knew all the staff and all this. And now it's this famous bar in Paris. And you look at all the pictures, we haven't been there, but you look at the pictures and it's just like brown leather sofas, like green, the winged back chairs, the books lining the shelves, all in very dark oak. Cocktail bar, just pristine, waiters, gorgeous, all called Bernard and Brian and, Sophia.
Paris, not Paris.
And it's just the place to go if you are in Paris. And so when you go onto Google and look at the reviews, these are the kind of 5-star reviews that it's getting. So this 5-star review was written by Joe.
Hey, Joe.
And he says this: "All I can say is wow. First, the cocktails are obviously excellent. Yes, they are expensive, €35 each."
That's a bit pricey, isn't it, eh?
How much is that in real money?
Well, it's about $35.
New Zealand?
No, as in American. But €35 would be just put half on again. So what? 60,
70 New Zealand dollars?
$55, $60.
Sod that. Imagine that.
You'd
for
want
a
to get
cocktail.
pretty wasted on that first one, wouldn't you?
Well,
Little slush puppy
so
comes
anyway,
over.
Joe goes on to say, yes, they're expensive, €35, but all of the bartenders, I don't know why I'm reading it like this.
Is it Joe or Joe?
All of the bartenders, including the legendary Colin, are so knowledgeable and friendly that it enhances the entire experience. He says, the bar is small and cosy and full of character. Order the greats, martini, Manhattan, but don't be afraid to venture off the menu. Now then, this is where it starts getting a bit. This is where Joe...
This is 5 stars.
Yeah, this is where
Right.
Joe, I can feel it. Listen, he says, he just couldn't resist.
Yeah.
He says...
Little dig.
Yeah, it's this little dig. He says, the only thing I can say that is not extremely positive
4 stars.
is that the hot dogs were only so-so.
Hot dogs?
Yeah, they serve like, because when you go to posh restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Not only are the portions tiny, but they
Yeah.
try and serve common things, like common man
Oh,
things.
right, yeah, like,
and
yeah.
try and make it all like, like you're in the Ritz, so let's get down with the poor people and order a hot
Yes.
dog.
Yeah, pizza and all that.
So they serve these hot dogs
Yeah.
with the cocktails, and Joe is not happy with them. And he says, look, the only thing I can say is that the hot dogs were only so-so. But, he says, as my wife pointed out, why are you ordering hot dogs in a place like this? That's what his wife said to him. That's how she talked.
Yeah.
So Joe says, I'm willing to overlook that. If you want a classy cocktail in a classy environment in Paris, this place is difficult to beat.
Wow.
So what I'm getting from Joe...
What you picturing?
Who, Joe? Or
No, just the Hemingways.
Well, I'm picturing what I just told you. I'm picturing beautiful Ritz, chandeliers, dark wood. What are you picturing?
Oh, I don't know. I'm for cocktail bar. I'm thinking sort of a conservatory, outdoory type thing.
No,
but
it's not
know.
that.
Is
It's
it
not that, no. It's more like a library.
Right. Okay.
Like, because
Yes.
obviously it's got the whole writer theme going on.
Right.
Lots of newspaper clippings on the wall.
Yeah.
Showing
podcast.
Ernie. Yeah. So anyway, that was that review. And then Vanessa, I just wanted to read you 2 reviews just to give you an idea of how beautiful this place is.
Right.
She also gave it 5 stars and she said, we had to wait for it to open and we had to wait for the hotel guests to leave.
24 hours a cocktail bar, shouldn't it, in the Ritz?
And she had to wait for the hotel guests to leave. It's very small, but she said, but it is awesome. So she's really, really happy. I'm guessing she's American because she said awesome.
Awesome.
We sat at the bar and got attention from Mark whenever we needed anything.
What's happened to Colin?
No, there's 2 of them.
Oh, right.
Mark and Colin.
Oh, right.
She said we got his attention whenever he needed anything.
Right.
My drink was a
€50.
Cosmo. Shut up.
Go on, carry on.
My drink was a Cosmo. My friend had a martini, vodka martini, and both came with large white roses attached to the glasses. That's quite classy, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? No wonder for €50.
We had some potato chips, a few crisps.
Some crisps.
Nuts and olives. And then we ordered the hot dogs. And oh my God, in fact, she says, OMG, look.
Yeah.
OMG, were they good?
It's a hot dog.
Maybe it was the alcohol talking, she says, but yum. I highly recommend you go to this place. You will have to wait in line for a long time, but it is worth it.
Wow.
So there you go. 2 happy customers. Joe, maybe not so, but his wife put him in his place. Nothing worse is that when you start complaining, taking your wife
someone just knocks you down as if like, okay.
So now, like I say, I'm reading those reviews. I'm going to Paris. Maybe I'm thinking, you know.
Why did they say potato chips? What other chips are there?
Crisps.
Yeah. I used to work in a hotel, Flash Hotel, when I was very young, and they used
What Flash Hotel have you ever worked in? No, you haven't.
the Mini Don.
That's
the
not
Mini
Flash,
Don.
it's a dump.
I know, but it was Flash to me at the time. And on Friday nights they did game chips. I was waiting all week for these game chips. The first week I was there. Oh, it's going to be chips. You know what they were? It was fried chicken, a roasted chicken, a little piece of it, and some just regular potato chips.
What do you mean? That
Like
was
crisps.
the dinner?
That was for the dinner.
What, some chicken and crisps?
Yeah, they called them game chips.
Why did you say the mini don was posh?
It wasn't.
Did
It's
you just think it was?
Yeah, because no, well, I didn't, but it was the first job I ever had as a waiter,
Oh, okay.
and it wasn't Flash at all.
So anyway, going back to the Hemingway, what's it called?
Hemingway, Ernest Hemingway. It's quite a famous chap, really.
Going back to this fancy cocktail bar. Now, let's get to the 1-star reviews because these are the people like me that are sitting in that bar in Waiheke Island thinking, do you know what? And I love reading 1-star reviews because, apart from on my own book, because it really gives you a feel. If you're going to go
constructive
somewhere,
1-star reviews,
Okay,
but I don't like ones that just go, it's shit, and then leave it at that and give you 1 star.
Well, I'll tell you this 1-star review of the bar Hemingway located in the Ritz, Paris. And you tell me if you think it's constructive.
Okay.
Or do you think that Shanti, that's the name of the person,
Shanti
has got a point. Okay?
Yep.
Here we go. €34 for the worst martini I've ever had. Not to mention waiting 40 minutes for it. It's a long time, isn't it?
It was.
40 minutes.
You shouldn't be
You're
waiting
gasping,
for that
wouldn't you?
sort of money. You know, you shouldn't be. And how's it €1 cheaper than the last one?
He says, the staff lacks focus, is inconsiderate, and is only waiting to finish interacting with the customers.
Colin and Mark have been tasting too many cocktails.
Their technique is lackluster, and the quality of the drinks is below average. This place, this is interesting, listen to this. This place is for rich folks to pretend they know how to drink. I thought that was quite an interesting comment, actually, from Shanti.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, being just a commoner, I would probably agree with everything he said there.
Do you know what, Bri?
Yeah.
I think I would.
Yeah.
I've never been to Bar Hemingway, but I think I'm getting a feel for it now. Are you?
Now, Mr. Ritz, whoever you are, the manager of the Ritz, and you'd like to sponsor us to come over to that bar and do a podcast in the Hemingway, I'm up for that. If you want to anyone who knows him, just Brian@itsadrama.com and get him on the blower.
I'm thinking that line says it all. This place is for rich folks. Oh, no,
Yeah.
actually, I don't agree with that.
To pretend
they know how to drink. I'm thinking it's for tourists who want to pretend they're rich.
Yeah, well,
and
it would
want
be.
to pretend. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I thinking along the right lines?
Yeah. Do you remember the time I was not allowed into that hotel?
Oh no, that was in London.
I know.
The Ritz, yeah.
It was the Dorchester. It was.
Oh, was it? I thought it was the Ritz.
It was. We were going for high tea at the Dorchester, or wherever it was. It was on the Strand. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's the Dorchester. And I had a pair of black jeans, a long overcoat, really smartly dressed for the time. It was like early 90s, wasn't it? And I said, "Sorry, sir, you can't come in jeans."
Well, no, they said, "Where are you?" You opened your mouth. You went, "Hello, my name is Brian, and I've got a reservation."
My name is Bernaaard. I am coming in here.
And they said, "Hang on a minute. Have you got a Scouse accent? Where are you from, mate?"
All
That's
right,
what they
mate.
said to you. You're not coming in here. No.
Oh, get
Anyway,
out.
I wanted to just read one more 1-star review to you because you're going to like this.
Yeah.
Because Colin's been mentioned again. Now, there's something going on in that bar. I'm not sure what's going on over there in the Ritz in Paris. But Colin, listen to this, Bri.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a 1-star review. I haven't written the name down, so I don't know who it is. But the title is Condescending and Disappointing.
That's a good title.
I went for a pre-dinner drink last Saturday night. I got a seat at the bar and was greeted by Colin,
Hello, Cole.
who instantly warned me that the martinis were strong, and he inquired if I had any experience drinking them. And then he says, "Really, Sherlock?"
Question mark? Wow.
I come to the most expensive bar in Paris, €30 a pop,
Come cheaper.
for the fun of it. I wonder if Colin worked in a Ferrari dealership, would he tell everyone that the cars were fast?
Only if you put your foot down.
Sounds annoyed at Colin, doesn't he? He then went on to tell my wife, so he wasn't on his own. I was thinking he was going to be on his own. Right. So he wasn't, he was with his wife. He then went on to tell my wife about a few of their fruity drinks. Oh dear. Recommending her something with raspberry.
Oof, gin and raspberry.
Without even asking her what her usual preference was.
Oh.
He was patronising, to say the least. Why didn't he just go ahead and pour her a Malibu and Diet Coke and get it over with?
Why was that her preference?
He's not happy.
I thought she'd be straight up.
Now, what the feeling I'm getting here, Bri, is about you and Bernard. Well, I reckon he's intimidated by Colin.
Complex.
Yeah, exactly.
By Cole.
Exactly. Yeah. Colin has given him an inferiority complex. Yeah. He's getting mad, isn't he? He goes on to say, listen to this. The other barman took great delight in telling us that the staff like to watch their drunk patrons, is it? Patrons stumble through the lobby the following day on their recorded CCTV footage. Now, so what's all that about?
I don't know.
So them two, Colin and his mate, at the end of the night, they rewind the CCTV footage.
Yeah, probably stick it up on TikTok.
And laugh at all the rich tourists that have been in the night before. Spending all their money.
Jeez.
If you want to be treated in a condescending fashion and be served disappointing drinks, oh, look, he's put it in speech marks. Oh, our special martini has a frozen ice cube and olive juice in it. How novel. Then go to the Hemingway bar at the Ritz. He is not unhappy. Happy chappy, that one.
What was his name? Or did he not have a name?
Didn't say.
Yeah, not Joe or Bernard.
No, so...
Where do you reckon he's from?
I don't know. I reckon he's from England. I'm getting the feeling he's from England.
He's a bit pissed off, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like taking his wife to a cocktail bar. Yeah. Colin coming on to her for a start.
He was obviously French.
Yeah. Well, no, he wouldn't be French, would he, with a name like Colin?
I know, yeah, Colin.
Colin coming on to her and saying, "You wanted something fruity?"
Yeah. My martini has got this special ice cube. What was so special about it?
I know.
Yeah.
Do you know what this problem is with this guy? Yeah. His problem is he's worked all week for his hard-earned dough. He's thought, right, I'll take my wife to a nice cocktail bar. She'll like it here. They serve really nice hot dogs. If you're a good girl, I'll buy you a hot dog as well.
A little one.
He's got to the bar and Colin has come on to her. Yeah. And all of a sudden, his manhood has just washed away down the drain with a martini. And not only that,
Yeah.
He knows that if he gets pissed, it's going to be on CCTV.
Because Colin's probably got his little fingers up behind his head, laughing at the camera, going like pointing at him and going.
Oh my God. So would you go to Hemingway's in Paris after reading those reviews? You tell us, would you?
What would you do? Would you want to go?
Do you know what? I'd be flipping going there now. I'm going there to see Colin.
Yeah, I want to go and see Colin and Mark.
Next time we go to Paris, we are going to go there and we're going to report back on the podcast. But what we thought would be really, really great for you to do is if you could leave a comment on YouTube or leave a comment on the website show notes. So if you go to the website, or just email us, Liz at It's a Drama, Brian at It's a Drama, and tell us of one place that you've been to that's been super duper fancy and it was rubbish. Yeah. You don't have to tell us if you complained or not.
Just wasn't the hype.
Just let us know where it was, because this just fascinates me. Yeah. It really does. Just these places. And whether or not you're brave enough, really, isn't it? Just to, leave a review like that or just...
Yeah, but it's just brave enough because you can feel intimidated that you don't say anything because this is supposed to be the creme de la creme,
Yes.
And that's the difference, isn't it? You're too frightened to say something. Yeah. Because there's I don't know. Yeah, that's what it is.
So please, please, please share, like I say, on the comments, on the email, whatever, and just let us know where you've been and if it was any good.
Yep.
So that's it. That's our show. That's what we wanted to share with you. It was it's been really good laugh.
What was the show about again?
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't even know who I am.
Right, come on. Let's leave it on a high.
Yes, and we hope you enjoyed it. And also, I wanted to say to you as well, don't forget to sign up for my free weekly newsletter where I share all stuff, going deeper, just let you know what's going on in life. It's a free newsletter. It's absolutely fantastic. And I would love you to join me on that. So to sign up for that newsletter, you can go to www.itsadrama.com/front row.
Yep.
All one word, as in front row seat. Say it again, Bri.
www.itsadrama.com/front row.
You can sign up for that newsletter.
/Bernaaard.
Sign up for that newsletter and just get in on all the goss. So thank you so much for joining us this week. I never want to say goodbye. I always want to just keep chatting to you, but needs must, and there's tuna salad waiting for me in the fridge. So let us know about that place that you've been to. Until next week, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us, and stay safe. Keep being you, keep smiling, and I will speak to you soon.
So kia kaha, stay strong, kia u, stay true, and like Liz says, we'll see you on the next one.
Okay.
See you now.
Bye.
Bye.
New Zealand. Everyone knows that New Zealand in the summer is the best. There's no better place in the world. But there are some things that unless you were here right now and you knew exactly what was going on, you would never expect from a Kiwi summer. Again, this isn't a common thing. Skinny dipping. Couldn't believe it, could we, Brian?
No, not really. Not only that, it was 10 o'clock in the morning.
10 o'clock in the
come
morning.
on, it's not even night time.
10 o'clock in the morning, there we were, walking down the beach.
Throw me stick out.
In this week's episode, we're going to share with you what it really means to experience summer down under and share a few secrets that you might not know about.